What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to more Black Desert. So today's video is going to be about my 400 CP node setup. A lot of people have been asking for an updated one, and recently I did a pretty big push for 400, mostly because there's a few nodes I wanted to swap and a few things I wanted to do. So yeah, now that we're at 400, I shifted a few things around. I'm going to basically show you how mine is set up. If you are a new player, basically how nodes work is if you start at a town, you see all these lines around everywhere. If you connect them, basically the concept of it is you are allowed to put workers on there, and you basically get passive materials that go into the storage by the workers that go into your town. So like materials that you get. Also, it helps with other life skills such as like trading, which is basically you trade goods from point A to point B and money. But I still do think trading needs a little buff, but right now we're just going to go over to workers. So you guys may be wondering, like, wow, where do you start from here? So I guess we'll start with the like starter areas like Velia, Heidel, and then go through what you should get as a newer player as well, because this is where you're going to start Velia. Then we'll go over to the later ones, and I'll give you some explanations on why I chose certain things. So the Balanos area, basically here, we have Olvia. I have a node for grapes, and Velia is a lot of cooking materials and timbers. Same with Heidel, because the region itself has a lot of like trees and stuff, so there's going to be more cooking and lumbering materials. So that's why if you look at my storage here, there's just a lot of wheat cooking, and then a lot of lumbering materials, and occasionally some processing, which they all go together in a way in terms of life skills in general. So over here, I'll just go over some of the important ones, since we don't have to go over every single one of the nodes. So the important ones I have here are basically the chicken meat and the egg ones. And the reason why we have chicken meat and eggs is because these are very valuable for cooking. And if you look at eggs, they're usually sold out. Like, you can get them, but you can't just buy them off the market. So if you have the node on early, even if you're not using it now, you will use it in the future. Plus, chicken meat is something I've been spam cooking a lot. I have almost 1 million. Do you ever need 1 million? No, you probably won't. But the reason why I have this much is because I was pushing for the byproducts for the CP. So when you cook alchemy and all that stuff, you basically get witch's delicacy, and then you turn that in, this thingy right here, and then you turn it in for cooking XP and contribution. So mostly the contribution. The cooking XP is just whatever. So that's how you get 400, just in a general nutshell. So back to where we are. Chicken meat node over here, 2 of them, and then just some more timbers. And before, back in the day, I used to have like the copper nodes, but I don't anymore. I still do think iron nodes are pretty valuable. So it's something that you probably will have a lot built up over the time. So just having like millions of iron ore is probably good. And this one, I don't have it, but also ash is not really good anymore. But I mean, if you're just trying to power level processing, then it's fine. Grapes is for cooking, and I think that's mostly the relevant stuff in here. Down here, forest occlusion, we have maple, which is pretty good. So basically, if you look on the materials, you can look at the timber prices and whichever nodes you can get. And basically, if the higher it is, the more value you would get for doing various things with it. So try to pick the nodes, obviously the ones that sell for higher if you're not using them, or yeah, basically more money. Some nodes are worth more than the others. Just find out what it is. I have fleece here. I don't really think I need it, to be honest, but just kind of had it. And let's see how long this has been going on for, actually. Over 1,800 cycles. So now that we get into the Heidel Serendia territory, a lot of this is mostly just the same thing as Velia. Timbers, wheats for cooking and processing, and one here we have cooking honey, which is, I think, one of the few nodes you can get cooking honey from. They used to be worth a lot, now they're not. I just kind of still have it on because it's not the worst thing you can get. Let's see, what else? There are certain nodes that you can get that are called excavation nodes, and they give you traces, and traces are used for various alchemy. And if you are new, you probably don't really have to worry about it too much, but it is something worth picking up in the case you want to do alchemy in the future, because traces are like very contested materials, except for the chaos ones, of course. But like ascensions, they're used for a lot of recipes and elixirs, along with if you need the cup of whatever for your like upgrade materials. And the same with all of these. So you can get most of them, but the valuable ones like that are sold out or something, you're gonna have to just get through nodes over time. So basically more ores and timbers here. This is just the region for it in general. As we go down to the Calpheon area, it's the same thing as Serendia. So we have a lot of cooking materials such as like barley and wheat. And back in the day, wheat was good because you would use it to craft beer. And before chicken meat was a thing, beer was the original source of how you feed your workers. And now you can just use it for other things. So basically, chicken or grilled bird meat has completely replaced it because it's just straight up better and you get more of it. So yeah, in 2022, you should be using grilled bird meat to feed your workers instead of beer. But ultimately, like, you could just buy it off the market instead of having the nodes if you really wanted to. More timbers over here, and I actually don't really know why I have tin. I think I just have it so it's something running. So I guess I should have started with this. You see your contribution point total out of your number. You want the left number, like the remaining, to be as low as possible, because if you have more than 0 or like higher the number, that means your workers are not doing anything and you're just not making as much money as you could be. Granted, node working is not really that much money, but over time it just adds up if you don't think about it. So make sure they're at least doing something. And I think just check the nodes and be sure to put them on to stuff you think you might actually need for, you know, just anything in terms of life skilling. So after that, we go to the Port of Feria area. Now, these nodes are something I probably could min-max a little bit better. Now, for Port of Feria, I keep all the materials from, like, when I was going for my Carrack in here, which is another video of how I balance and organize my storages. But anyway, so all these materials here, all these dry fish and whatnot, this is basically 2 years worth of fish nodes going off. And the only one I really use is this one, and sometimes dried octopus and porgy. So I don't know. I've never actually needed about 60,000 of these dried, or 80,000 of these things, but maybe one day they'll be good for something. So these nodes are fairly cheap, and the only downside to them is they're like 6-hour nodes or something. I don't know if they're actually 3 to 6 hours, something longer than usual. However, back in the day, you could use this for like pet food is what I used it for, which I don't know how is the good feed market. Okay, so basically there is feed you can buy from the stable, but I usually just use good feed because I craft it myself, and cheap feed is probably the way to go, but the difference is you're probably going to have to carry a lot more in your storage, which you don't really want to do, or like your inventory. So I just use good feed because I can make it myself. Is it profitable? I have no idea. That's just what I do. So yeah, that's where I get the fish from, and then the meat is obviously from gathering. So I have separate videos if you want to watch where I gather and do various things. So if you want to know how to craft certain things, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm happy to answer it. But anyway, fish nodes over here. Going down, we have the Trent area. Honestly, I'm really lazy. I should probably actually do something, start processing these, because these are kind of worth a lot, but this is basically what I've been using it for. I use this Trent area because I want the cedar saps, and it's good for alchemy, and it's just something I needed in the future. So spirit leaves and saps are pretty valuable at the moment, and sap is something that pretty much everyone who does alchemy will need in one recipe or another. The timbers are just a bonus on the side. I should probably get rid of all these crystals. These were there for like 5 years or so. And so yeah, that's it. Old wisdom tree. I used to have some nodes around here, like 1 or 2, but basically this is what I had, and then I got rid of a lot of it. Grana is a special one because people who are starting out, I remember going back into the Star's End node, and I had it mostly because when you get the Excavation Node, you would get massive pure magics and stuff, and that's used to upgrade Black Star gear, but over time you just realize you don't need it. So if you grind the Elvia areas, you just kind of get a lot of massive pure magics, and if I need 1700 to make another Pen Black Star, there's something wrong with the game. Anyway, so what I have here, I have the Loopy Tree Forest. This one is a more recent one for me because I did want the tree sap, and I guess the timbers and planks are cool, but I really just wanted the saps from there, and I was too lazy to gather. So basically, timbers not really worth, planks whatever, but we are here for the where are the saps? Very minimal saps that we get here, the Loopy Tree sap. I also have the Tooth Fairy Forest node going on because it gives me Trace of Forest, and is something I needed a while ago. Plus, I had this node back in the day when I was grinding the Infinite Potion, and Renaros was one of the areas that you actually grind for it. So I had this going on, and it's level 9. I just don't want to get rid of it. So, node connection from Grana, that's it. Okay, so going into the Duvenkroon and Odraxia area. Let's start with Odraxia. We have potato and grapes because cooking. Then we have another chicken meat and eggs. Talked about that from the Velia one, pretty valuable. We used to have more connecting upwards, but I just took them out. I don't use them. Duvenkroon, we have... Oh god, I think I really just took Duvenkroon for the first sap. But that's kind of an expensive one. But yeah, I don't know if I really need that. I'm gonna have to rethink this whole connection. Before, I used to have to shear ruins because I was grinding there for the infinite pot, plus you could get the bracken. It's kind of slow. I don't think the bracken is actually that good, so I would get them and then use it. But basically, when I was grinding the infinite pots, I was just going for whatever, timbers and whatnot. This is just around here. So Duvenkroon to me is not really the best spot. There's probably another massive pure magic node that you can get if you're like, you actually need it, but I don't think it's really that important. Now, in terms of the new area, the Ilton Mountain of Winter region zone, I have 3 nodes, and there's going down from town all the way to Jade Starlight Forest. Now, the reason why I got Jade Starlight Forest, it's also level 10 because I was grinding the Flame back when it came out for the Labresca helmet, and I have 2 nodes going on here, the Snowfield Cedar stuff and Rough Jade, along with this one with the Birch Timber and Monk's Branch. The Birch Timber is worth a little bit, And this one, cooking honey, because it is a cooking honey node. So over here, this is basically what we have. The rough jade is worth a little bit, and then the timbers and saps are, I guess, something like we'll get and use in the future. But I just want to have a stockpile of the cedars, just because, and the saps, because I might use it one day. What else do we have? Medaya and the Tariff area, Altanova zone. So we have Tariff going down here. A lot of these are just cooking materials. So down here is more ores. So Altanova is mostly known for like materials, minerals, and rocks and stuff. So there's a lot of ores and stuff here. So Tariff area is more lumbering and various cooking materials. So if we look in the nodes here, a lot of things I got were potatoes, cotton, mushrooms, a few timbers, saps, and like more of that. So basically these are the important things. If you see a sap node, those are very valuable if you plan on doing alchemy in the future. Cooking will always be a thing, and timber nodes are pretty popular just in general. So make sure to look into that. These are kind of expensive nodes, but they do give sap, and that's why I have them. Ores over here. These are double iron and zinc. Zinc is worth a little bit. Definitely worth checking out. And Altanova, we have... I really need to reevaluate this one. I'm going for the sap, but the elder tree timber is something that you get a lot of. I have a nice 1.3 million of them that I'll probably never process, and they don't sell either. So might just have to honestly package them for crates and then see where it goes from there. But yeah, cotton and elder tree timbers, zinc and iron, coal, you turn this into steel, and then you could use that for a lot of crafting, or you could just sell the steel in the market. Back in the day, I used to have a Gruntle factory going, but that's super outdated, irrelevant. In here, we have a Tef node, or two of them actually. 2 Tef nodes going on. I used to make a lot of Valencia meals, and nowadays I'm too lazy. So over here we have Shikatu. Actually, why is this not even connected? Okay, well, anyway. Shikatu, what I had here back in the day, I used to go for double figs when they were worth a lot. So figs used to be like 10k. You could make some like a few 100 million off fig nodes, and then everyone found out that it was a good node, and then the price tanked. So here we are. I have just a lot of figs, and then I don't really use them. Down here, we have connected to Arihaza. I have the Sulfur Node connected. And really, this connection is for... because I was grinding there for the map piece. And that's about it. But if I was to put any extra things over here, it would be on the vanadium ore, which I can actually do now. But I'm going to hold off on that because I want vanadium ore. And I guess titanium, that would be... these are both pretty decent, but vanadium is used for processing or manufacturing monos accessories, if you know how to make them. And it's just, if I don't have to buy them off the market, then it's always nice a little bit. So I could put that there. The only thing is, I don't think I have any Arihaza workers, so I'd have to go down here to get a worker before I put the node on. And yeah, imagine doing that. So I'll probably do it one day if I don't remember. And that's about it. But before we go, if you are a sailor and looking to make a carrack, I have a video of this, but just a quick rundown while we're going into nodes. If you're looking into getting a carrack one day, there are a few nodes you want to look out for because you want to get starlight powder as fast as possible. This material is used for upgrading carrack gear, and basically you'll need it. Plus you want to get the blueprints, and these allow you to go from green to blue carrack gear. And so you're going to want to get some blueprints as fast as possible. So anyway, the way it works is you have the Ilia Island 3 house node, and then you have the workshop going on. These sunset blackstones are what you use to get the enhancing material for your carrot gear, and then this is where you make the gear itself. So with that said, there are nodes over here, like 1, 2, like this island, and these 2 islands over here. What you're going to want to do is connect these nodes, because they do have the excavation node, and this is where you're going to want to get the blueprints as well as the powder. Now, wait, hold on. Was it this one? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm right. These nodes connecting from Ilia Island are kind of expensive, actually. So each excavation is 3. So in total, you need 12 plus a few connections to get to Ilias. It's probably like a 15 CP thing, which is kind of expensive. And yeah, so just keep that in mind. But it is something you're probably going to want to look into in the future. I don't particularly think the dried ones are that worth it. But yeah, if you are looking to build a Carrack, make sure to get these nodes as fast as possible and just start building up blacks or whatever, the starlight powder, and getting the blueprints as fast as possible, because these are long nodes. They're like, what, 6 hours each? So if you're getting close, you might want to start putting it on in advance so you're just ready to go once you're done. Other than that, I don't really have any more connections out here. I used to have from Ilia to Port Rat, and then I realized I didn't actually need it because I don't like going to Port Rat. There's nothing to do there. Maybe in like 3 years there might be, but until then there's nothing. So I think I covered basically my entire region of everything. So if you have any questions and or want to share yours, feel free to let me know. And with that said, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.